Hey everyone, this is Casual Fanatic.
Film reviews without the shoes.
I'm Luca, your casual viewer.
And I'm Cayman, your fanatic. Gee, wow.
Look, it's been a long break.
It's been a long break. I apologize to our viewers, listeners. It's been a pretty wild year, but thank you for those of you who stuck around and waited for us. We're back.
Yep. And it will continue to be kind of a crazy year, so we're like within like a month we'll probably hit a break again for a month.
Hopefully not that long. I mean, we'll see how things go. But yeah, I'm warning you all now. It's going to be hard to keep a consistent weekly upload, but we'll try.
We'll do our best. So, Cayman, how have you been? What's up?
You know, I've been. It's pretty good weather today. It's rained a little bit. I fed my bees earlier. Also, that's another thing. I'm not sure if we talked about this on our last pod. I don't remember what we talked about on our last episode. But back in December, our bees were robbed, and so
they were robbed.
Another local bee colony came and killed a lot of our bees and stole a lot of their resources, and so we ended up losing our hive. But then in early May, maybe late April, I want to say early May though, it wasn't that long ago. I got another, they're called nukes. It's like a small container of bees to repopulate the hive, and they're doing good. But earlier this morning I went out and gave them some sugar water, which helps them, because I mean, like, it's springtime, so it's I guess technically about almost summer now, but there are flowers, so they are able to do natural foraging. But I also feed them from time to time just to help them build up, because it takes a lot of energy to build out a beehive, so I need to make sure they have as much resources as possible.
Yeah, what do you feed them even?
I just boil. It's equal parts sugar and water. I boil it so that the sugar dissolves into the water to make like a kind of a syrup, and then I put it in jars, and I put the jars in the beehive, and then they can drink it.
Oh, in the beehive. So like straight up, like
there are feeders you can buy that sit at the entrance to the beehive, but obviously like other insects and things can come and drink that as well. And for more developed colonies, it's not really a problem because the bees can usually defend themselves pretty well. But since this is a newer colony, I didn't want to have anything out in the open. So yeah, I have one of the like boxes of the beehive is empty, like there's no frames in there. And I just put the jars in there so that it's inside the hive so that only the bees can access it.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Well, hopefully they can survive a little bit longer.
Well, I also, so after the last hive got robbed, I ordered a screen specifically designed to help prevent robbing. So because there's a little bar that comes with a lot of hives that is called an entrance reducer, and it can make the entrance to the hive bigger or smaller. A bigger opening allows for more ventilation, which is important, but a smaller opening is easier to defend. And also you usually reduce the entrance during winter because obviously you don't want all that cold air getting in there.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I put a screen on there that has like a bunch of little holes in it that are too small for bugs to get through, but it will still allow airflow. so it keeps the it keeps the hive cool over the summer, but the actual opening to get in is much smaller, so that if other bees do decide to attack, it's easier to defend because it's a smaller opening.
Wow, that's crazy. There's a whole science behind it.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. That's
But
awesome.
anyway, how have you been?
Pretty good. I've just been working, loving my job.
What you
Last
working on?
night,
Anything?
sorry?
I said you working on anything fun?
I'm still working on. It's an arena that's popping
Okay.
up here, like 20 minutes from me.
Nice.
It'll be like a mixed use arena for, like rodeos, cattle shows, horse shows, whatever kind of shows they have there. And then like doubles as like a music venue.
Yeah.
And
When's the
it
last
has, like,
time you went to a
classroom
rodeo?
spaces in it. Say what?
So when's the last time you went to a rodeo?
Oh, a long time, dude. Years. A long time.
I think I went to one like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Oh wow, where?
Yeah. In Arkansas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been to a rodeo. I've been to like a tractor show where they do like tractor pulling.
I've
That's
never
probably
been
the
to a
closest I've
tractor
gotten to
show.
it.
I've been to 2 rodeos. I went to, well, maybe 3. I have vague memories of one when I was like really, really young, but I know so I went to the one 2 years ago, and then I want to say like 7 years ago, something like that. I went to one, maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, I can remember that.
And that
Me
was
around the
at the American Airlines Center in Dallas.
Yeah. About a
What'd
year
you-
ago, we tried to in like Fort Worth, tried to go to like one of those stock shows,
Yeah.
rodeos, but it was already sold out.
I also
So we
went to
were-
a monster truck show at the American Airlines Center.
Yep, that's fucking sick.
Yeah,
I want to do that still.
it was pretty fun.
I don't know if I've gone to one or if I've just seen so many videos of them. You know?
I feel like I've
Kind of-
never like thought. I don't know. There's such a difference in going to an event in person. Like I could never be a monster truck fan. Like I don't really care that much about what they look like, and I'm not interested in watching any of it like on TV or anything like that. But being at
Yeah.
a monster truck show is a whole different thing.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, they're loud and huge, and like they jump up like 20, 30, 40 feet.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Really fucking cool. But yeah, other than that, other than work, last night, KK and I and one of her coworkers, we went to a concert.
Oh yeah, for who?
Stevie Nicks.
Oh wow.
Dude, it was phenomenal.
I bet.
It was so fucking cool. I mean, like, she was just fucking killing it, honestly.
Oh yeah. No, she's amazing.
She's like, what? She's 76 years old.
damn.
Still out there fucking
That's
killing it.
wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
Did you have good
It was
seats?
really good time. Dude, we had unbelievable seats. Okay. So like you have like that so we were stage right.
Yeah.
Like basically I could see her facial reactions.
Dude, that's
practically.
crazy.
Yeah. It was wild. It was really fucking cool.
The last concert I went to, we were pretty far back.
Yeah, same actually. Well, yeah, same. KK and her coworker Daniel got these seats, and unreal. I mean,
I mean,
didn't. Yeah.
I'm sure it cost a fortune.
So I didn't know what they costed until I got there because KK didn't tell me because she just bought the tickets,
Yeah.
and yeah, they were expensive. Yeah, for like 2 tickets, I think she paid $700.
That's honestly, I mean,
It's not.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was more. So that's not as bad as I was expecting, but still, that's
Still
that's more than
fucking
I've
a
got.
lot.
Yeah, it's like over 300 per person is wild.
Yeah. And she didn't tell me what the price was, and I found out while I was sitting there. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I would have just had you go alone." Like, I didn't want to like interrupt like both of them going.
My
but then
friend,
I was sad that I wasn't going, and then she just bought me a ticket. I was like,
my friend
God.
Astrid recently went to see Bad Bunny, and she had floor seats.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she was like, she put videos on Instagram and stuff, and she was like a stone's throw. Like she could literally, she could hit him with something if she tossed it.
How much were those seats?
I don't know. I didn't ask, but I'm sure also quite a lot.
Yeah, I can believe that one's a lot. Oh yeah. But yeah. Other than that, just living life, having a good
living
time.
Life.
Summer's coming around. Volleyball season has started.
Oh, another thing. Why don't you tell me more about and tell the viewers about? I know, what was it, 2-3 days ago? Denver had a giant hailstorm.
My God. Yeah. Super random, of course.
The pictures you sent me were insane. They were almost baseball sized.
Yep. They were roughly like golf ball, a little bit bigger than golf ball. And of course, like I couldn't go out there and like pick it up right when it landed.
Right.
Just because like I didn't want to get fucking hit by another fucking golf ball coming at like Mach 2 from the fucking sky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saved a few like after, 20, 30 minutes of it, coming down, and they're still like golf ball size hail balls.
That's absolutely crazy.
And I think that's like the first like actual like big hailstorm I've had here in like my 2.5 years of living in Colorado. But yeah, like they were not to mess with. They were coming down hard. I talked to a guy who owns a business. He owns a roofing business as well as like he builds single family homes for people. And dude, he was telling me he has like 3 appointments the next day of him needing to go out check people's roofs because of these fucking giant hailstorms. And I got like the edge of it. I got the edge.
I was checking the Denver subreddit, and everyone on there was talking about good places to get dents repaired, and some people were talking about selling their cars. Like,
bro,
the whole thing was just like dealing with the damage.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Like, luckily, I have a garage that my car is not exposed.
Yeah.
In any sort of fashion, so that's good. But I don't even have my car currently, and luckily, where my car is, the storm didn't pass over. So
that's good.
Yeah. I don't think the viewers know that story either. I parked my car with valet in the morning before I go to work in the city, and so the valet parked my car. I was leading a meeting at around like 2:00, something like that. Around 2:30, I get a call, and it's the valet, and they said, "Hey, we hit your car with a box truck." So I love that for me. But yeah, they're repairing everything. Hopefully, I get it back Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
Mind you, this happened like a month or two ago.
They've just been slow about it.
Yeah, I mean, the paperwork is just miserable, but I don't have to pay for anything, not even my rental. So
that's good.
I've been driving around in an S-Line Audi Q5, and that thing is fucking fast. It's so fast. And then I also took it off-roading. So yeah, all my buddies, we went camping. All my buddies had like, Lexus GXs, and then a 4Runners, and then a Land Cruiser. Yes, Land Cruiser. And then I come in an Audi, a rental. Fucking crazy terrain, but I made it. I made it through. I had a centimeter of space before I damaged anything. So
nice.
But yeah, that's that. We already talked about your end, or you got something else to say?
No, I don't think anything else really special is happening around here. I'm just living life.
Mm-hmm. W. That's all you gotta do. All right, well, on that note, don't mind me, I'm eating crackers.
All right.
Because it's my breakfast, 1, and 2, this is what I'll be showing at the end is for a recommendation.
Cool. All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about the 2021 movie Dune.
Such a good movie, in my opinion.
It was directed by Denis Villeneuve, written by Denis, as well as John Spates and Eric Roth. Obviously based on the Frank Herbert novel, and stars Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, Stellan Skarsgård, Josh Brolin, lots of big names actually. Like Dave Bautista's in there, Javier Bardem, a lot of people you probably know. Our friend, not personal friend obviously, but just someone that we have both been fawning over the last few times he's popped up in a movie. But David Dostmulchin. Yeah, it's star-studded cast. Everyone does a great job. But tell me, Luca, what did you think about Dune?
Okay. So I started watching the movie knowing that people said it was like a relatively like slower movie, a little longer. But
yeah,
dude, I really enjoyed it.
2.5 hours.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. But I really did enjoy it. I liked that, and you know this, like this is kind of my thing, being able to see like a large view of like the landscape or the settlement, or
there's a lot of wide angle shots in this movie.
There's so many wide angle shots, which really lets me like be enveloped in like their world, or like imagination wise, like that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Now I have more of like a broad spectrum of it. I really like when movies do that, and they did it well. And then also like the character development, yes, it was slow, but at the same time, like you saw so much detail throughout the whole movie, to where like a lot of times I'm watching movies, I'm like, that doesn't really make sense. Not once in this movie did that hit me, where I was like, I don't understand what just happened.
That's honestly, I'm a credit to the writers, because there's a lot going on in this movie, and I know I've seen
so much.
Like I've seen comments from some other people who it can easily be confusing. Like there's a lot of things that aren't very specifically explained, and you just have to like kind of figure it out through context clues.
Yeah,
and
you
there's
just kind of sit in it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, out of 5, I think I rated this movie like a 4.25.
Nice.
4.5. Yeah, what about you?
I am in the same boat. I loved it. I think, like I mentioned a second ago, I think all of the performances were great. The cinematography was great. The score by Hans Zimmer, A tier. Some of the makeup was really good, especially for the Harkonnens. Great stuff.
Totally agree.
Yeah, it's just wow.
Yeah, it was a wow factor movie. And then the best part is, people told me that Dune 2 is even better. And I haven't seen it yet, so I'm extremely excited. Whenever you like mentioned that we're going to be watching the Dunes, I was like, I had already been wanting to watch them for like a month.
Yeah.
So this is perfect.
Well, I went and saw, I want to say a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I went and saw Dune 2 in theaters, but it is out on streaming now, so I will be watching it again for us to do that episode.
Oh yeah. It's a must.
Yeah. Oh awesome. My God. It's super cool. Also, second note here, it had an estimated budget of $165 million. And so far worldwide, it has made about $407 million.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think. Well, maybe not that good, actually.
I mean,
if you double it, you know?
Yeah, it's still a little over double. So it's like, it's well into the profit margin, I'd say. And I think it's still out in theaters. So like, these aren't final numbers.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, this movie definitely deserves the recognition it's been getting,
Yeah.
not just for the cast, but also like just like the, I don't know. I got like one comment where actually Daniel said, the coworker of my girlfriend, he said that when he watched the movie, he thought that like they had, I forgot which way it went, but they pre-planned like where they wanted to go, and then they filled in the middle, and so maybe that's why it was a little confusing here and there.
Okay.
But that was just his like thought on it. But I don't know. I thought it was great. Anyway.
Also, Dune won 6 Oscars.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. They got the Oscar for cinematography. They got editing. They got score. They got visual effects, production design, and sound. And that's another thing.
Practically everything that makes a movie good.
Yeah. Not only the score and the music, but just the sound design and like some of the moments where there's like just sand blowing in the wind, or like the sound of the sandworms and the sound of some of the machinery. Like it's just gorgeous.
Yeah. Like really freaking cool. Really cool.
All right. Well, then, I guess let's step into the Boxding Ring. Who's going first?
I went first last time.
Okay.
So you will go first this time.
Well, I will say,
Best part is I'm prepared for this one. I wrote this down last night when I watched the movie. So
I did not. When House Atreides is ordered by the Galactic Emperor to take over the production of a rare resource called spice on the planet Arrakis. They will encounter unforeseen dangers and fall into a battle for control of the planet. That's what I'm gonna say.
damn, that was really good.
Thanks.
You hit all like the major points that I wrote down. So
Well, that was just off the top of my head.
wow, that's impressive that you remembered like even the family's name. Because I would not have. Alrighty. Well, mine was the Atreides family is wanting to control Arrakis because of the valuable spice that can be used for intergalactic travel, as well as hallucinogens, as well as for its money content. Wanting to be in control of Arrakis dangers approach.
Right. This one is gonna be hard. I feel like we both kind of got the right vibe, so I'm looking for like specific things that we mentioned here. But this is Paul Atreides, a brilliant and gifted young man born into a great destiny beyond his understanding, must travel to the most dangerous planet in the universe to ensure the future of his family and his people. As malevolent forces explode into conflict over the planet's exclusive supply of the most precious resource in existence, a commodity capable of unlocking humanity's greatest potential, only those who can conquer their fear will survive.
Huh. Interesting. They gave away a lot more like in-depth detail about like the character that is important.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it's pretty clear that Paul is sort of the main character. I feel like, I don't know why both of us kind of focused on the family and not on Paul specifically.
Yeah, because like he's revealed to be the main character like midway through the movie, kind of. Because at the beginning, like it was a lot of like part building with like his dad and Paul, and then his mom and Paul.
Yeah, I guess. I think
I don't know.
maybe it's just because it's such an old story. There's sort of like some sort of an expectation there for people to just know that Paul is the main character.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
And also just like like he's the first person that we see in the movie, except, well, I guess not the first well, yeah, he's the first person we see. He's not the first person we hear, because there's the intro sequence. Or no, I guess, never mind, he's not even the first person we see. The movie starts with Chani, Zendaya's character, doing the whole voiceover thing, and there are a few clips of her walking around. But she also is like barely in the movie.
That's so true. I
Yeah,
heard a lot of people complained about that.
I don't know about this one. I guess, do you wanna try for a tiebreaker?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Got any good ideas for one?
No.
Okay. Let's do. Okay, how about this?
Who has the best impression of the witch's voice when they command something?
I don't know about that.
Oh, that'd be so funny. What?
We need something more objective.
All right, that's true.
Okay, speaking of Zendaya's slow or short screen time, how much screen time do you think she specifically had?
Oh, good question. 12 minutes.
Okay. I think that's already too long. I'm going to say...
Yeah, I agree, actually. Fuck! I take it back!
It's too late. I'm going to say 9.
Oh, that's bullshit. You undercut me by 3 minutes?
Actually, no. I'm gonna
6.
No, you can't change it now.
Well, you're about to change it.
Okay, fine. You can do 6. I'll do 8.
All right. I do 6.
Okay, 6 is your guess. 8 is my guess. Those are the final answers. Zendaya screen time. Well, okay. So BuzzFeed says Zendaya only had 7 minutes of screen time. Which doesn't help, because you said 6 and I said 8, so that's still an even amount.
Oh no. It might just be a tie.
Yeah, unfortunate. Well, there we go. I guess I can't find anything else, so we're gonna go with 7 minutes.
Hey. You know, I'll give it to you. Like, I'll give this to you just because, like, whenever you did say at the very start, I think you said that they moved to the planet. Well, you said that they were commanded to move to the planet.
Does it say it here?
And I think they said something about, like, them moving to the planet.
It does not. No. Oh, wait. No. Okay. It says must travel to the most dangerous planet in the universe.
Yeah. Same kind of vibe, I thought.
Okay.
I'll give it to you. It's fine.
Well, I appreciate your generosity.
I know. It won't happen again.
All right. Well, then I guess we'll take a small break and we'll come back for our spoiler review.
Sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between, this is the spoiler section. If you don't want the movie spoiled, don't listen.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Also, I just want to throw out there real quick, Happy Pride Month. Eh?
Oh, yeah.
Happy Pride Month. It's started yesterday. I celebrate Pride every day just because I live around, the LGBT plus word letters community. There's just a lot now. They added a lot.
Honestly, I feel like at a certain point we just need to. Can we just like condense it? Just find one letter that represents everyone.
Yes.
Which
please.
I guess like they kind of like, I don't know. I feel like most people in that community are fine with being called queer. I feel like that's a pretty general term.
That's true. Yeah.
So maybe we just call them Q people.
The guy that I was hanging out with yesterday, he's a queer. He's a big time in that queer community. And every time he mentioned them, he called them the F word. And I was like, what are you doing? You can't be doing that. He's like, oh, I can. You can't.
Ridiculous.
I was like, I don't know, man. But okay. Anyway. Yes, I just wanted to mention real quick, Happy Pride Month. Throw that out there for anyone that's listening. Anyway. Alrighty, well, since we're in the spoiler section.
Yeah.
Let's get going. What do you think about like the opening battle scene?
I'm trying to remember specifically. Is that the one where there's like the two armies running at each other, and then one of the soldiers turns out to be Paul?
Yes.
He like raises his mask up, and you see. I thought that was kind of funny because, I don't know. It just like it looked a little fake. Or no, sorry. I think that battle was at the end actually. Because I have it in my notes towards the end of the movie.
That was at the end. The beginning one where is like the battle where things turn kind of medieval, in my opinion. Is that not the right one?
I honestly don't remember the battle at the beginning.
All right, well, what a shit question to start off with. Next.
But speaking of that battle at the end, I would like to mention I do think Paul's face when the visor lifts up looks like it's not actually there.
I don't quite remember that.
I don't know what kind of effect that was. It was kind of similar to like in Avengers Infinity War when Bruce Banner is in the Hulkbuster suit. There's a point where he lifts up his mask and it just looks like you can just tell that like the whole suit is CGI except for his head is like kind of awkwardly cropped in there.
Yeah,
and it looks awkward, and I feel like I got that same sort of vibe from that scene at the end.
That's funny. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
I remember.
Let me ask you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Overall, when I started watching this movie, I got a very Star Wars-esque vibe.
Okay.
Like in Star Wars, they also have spice that is really expensive, and also the spice planet is quite dangerous. And then I also got kind of like a Star Warsy vibe from like the machinery that they were kind of using, like the looks of it.
Really?
What do you think about that?
I think there's definitely clear inspiration. I mean, I feel like Dune is, because the book came out in 1965, so it's a pretty. I mean, it's pretty heavily influential on all of the sci-fi genre after that point.
Wait, when was the book released?
65.
Okay, so here it says the first Star Wars movie was released in 1977.
Yeah, so that's over a decade later.
Yeah, so I guess Star Wars got their inspiration from Dune?
Yeah, Dune is definitely older.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. Wow. They could have really taken off with like this Dune theory the same way that Star Wars did, I feel like.
I mean,
it's such a good, like, broad kind of like, planetary vision and like imagination, like area where they definitely could have done so much more with it than what,
well,
like,
for a
two
long
movies.
time, the Dune novel has a reputation for being unadaptable, which I think is, first of all, very debatable, but also I would argue at this point untrue, because I think these past two movies have been absolutely amazing. But
for sure.
Yeah, I think I can see where it would be difficult to portray all of this with the kind of film techniques and technology that they had back then. Whereas it's not like it's not to say that things couldn't be done, because I've seen like some of the shots in the 84 film, some of them are a little ridiculous, but like some of the sandworm stuff in the 84 film is actually surprisingly good. There are different tips and tricks and things that filmmakers can do to go beyond their capabilities in certain ways. But yeah, I think Dune is definitely going to maybe become more. I don't think it's ever going to get to a Star Wars level, but I think they're definitely, like, HBO is coming out with a new series. I want to say next year, maybe end of this year.
Oh wow. Okay.
That takes place like 100 years before the movies or something like that. So yeah, I mean, it's being expanded on. People obviously want to make money, so
for sure. And it's like a good storyline, if you ask me.
And it's not like, even the storyline aside, it's a good universe. Like, you could create a completely different story in the Dune world, and I think it would be equally compelling. And I think perhaps that is a way for them to sort of go a different path than Star Wars did. I think Star Wars, and there was a lot of extended universe stuff before Disney bought Star Wars, and they're starting to get a little bit back into it, like the new Acolyte show or whatever that's coming out later. And the first season of Mandalorian did really well. I never watched the third one because I heard it sucked. But I think one of the biggest complaints about Star Wars is that every single story in the Star Wars universe, it feels like it has to be tied into the Skywalkers somehow. Like, there's very rarely a story that just like is like, I don't give a fuck what Luke and Leia and Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, those people are doing their own adventure somewhere else. We're gonna tell a story that's happening over in this part of the galaxy. And I feel like that kind of stuff doesn't happen very often in Star Wars.
Okay. I can definitely see that. I mean, especially with like this movie kind of series.
Yeah.
Because there are different families, and each family is controlling a certain planet in like the solar system.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to do stuff that's not Paul related.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I'm really curious also in like the movie where like we find out that my cat's going crazy. Where we find she's chasing him off.
Yes.
Chewy girl, be careful. Chewy. Anyway, where we find out that like his mom is pregnant, and that's where I looked at KK. I was like, okay, so now do you think that he's the chosen one, or do you think that the baby's the chosen one? Because we don't know. And she says the baby is the chosen one. But I'm not sure.
The baby is. Okay, so I'll tell you this much. I know the answer, but setting that aside, I think that Lady Jessica doesn't seem like the kind of person to give up on Paul.
Right.
And so here's the thing, is the Bene Gesserit, one of the abilities that they have is they can choose whether their child is a boy or a girl.
Oh, really?
And so that's why, like, when she's talking to she's talking to the Reverend Mother after the whole hand in the box scene, and she was like, we ordered you to only give birth to girls, and you chose to have a boy because you thought you were so special, because the Bene Gesserit, they're like long-term plan is to eventually produce what they call the Kwisatz Haderach, which is a man who will eventually take control of the galaxy. And so they're like, we're gonna just keep having girls. We only have girls. We raise girls. That's why every Bene Gesserit is a girl.
Yeah.
And then the goal is to, like, I don't know exactly what the circumstances are, but their idea is that eventually one of them will have a boy, and that boy is going to be the chosen one. And Jessica chose to have a boy because she was like, my kid's going to be the chosen one. Fuck all you other people.
Right.
And so her being pregnant again, I think it would be odd for her to choose to have another boy.
Huh. I gotcha. But what if she chooses a girl and it is a boy? Is that kind of like what, like you know how she chooses sex or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, what if she chooses to have a girl, but then it actually becomes it comes out as a boy, and I'm guessing at that point then he would be the chosen one because it went against her urges or whatever.
I to the best of my knowledge, that's not really a possibility. I think their powers are more reliable than that.
Well, then how? I mean, then how are they ever supposed to have a boy if all they're gonna do ever is choose girls?
Well, good question. But obviously, Jessica chose to have a boy.
True. True. Noted. I gotta watch Dune 2 now. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was just my my questions breaking off from like the movie overall.
Yeah, they have so they can control their pregnancies. They obviously have the voice, which is I guess the most prominent of their abilities in the movie. And I think the voice in the movie is very it's almost exclusively used in a commanding way, but it can also be used in a more influential way. Like the reason that the Bene Gesserit, so like each noble family and the emperor himself, there's a Bene Gesserit for every family. And the way that they sort of like behind the scenes control things is by like using the voice in a more subtle way. So instead of like forcing someone to do something, they can like make a suggestion about like who should we trade with and that kind of thing. And like they change the tone of their voice to make it more suggestive. Like
interesting.
Not really mind control, but like hypnosis in a way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess they kind of, I mean, it was definitely used in a forceful way in this movie, especially when like they were trapped on the helicopter.
Do you mean thing. The ornithopter?
Yes, the ornithopter. Yeah, so whenever they were in there, and then she commanded them to basically cut them loose and then kill the other guy, which was such a fucking badass scene.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
dude, I don't know of any other movie where the mom or even woman character is such a badass as she is. Like, she's pregnant and she's fucking beating up people. Like, so sick. So cool.
And then they also sort of have like slight like future seeing ability, which we kind of see with Paul. Like, he has visions and things like that, but some of the other Bene Gesserit have stronger foresight, but not it's one of the more vague powers that they have.
Okay. I guess you learn more about them, in Dune 2 or something like that?
There's definitely more information in Dune 2, but also a lot of it is just like, it is, because I've never read the books. I know all of this information is available in the books. I just know it from doing a lot of research.
Damn. Like if the movies are this good, I'm pretty sure the books are fucking insanely good.
So one of my friends has read them, and he said they're actually really dry. And I think that also contributes to, like, one of the reasons that people thought that it couldn't be adapted for such a long time, because the books are very just like, they're very, like, if you thought the movie was slow, the books are even slower.
Oh, wow.
Like, stuff just doesn't happen a whole lot in the book.
Oh, that's crazy. How many books are there? Is it just one?
Originally, it was just one, and then Frank Herbert decided to go back later and do one or two more, and then I think his son did like 3 or 4 more after that or something. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Wow, that's a lot of books.
Yeah.
Cool.
But the first one is the most well-known story.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I think, speaking of the dryness, I will say I think one of again, because the world is so complex and there's so much that the audience needs to know, I understand why they did it the way they did, but I think they could have been a little more creative with some of the exposition. Like, I feel like there was a lot of scenes of, like, Paul watching those little, like, hologram documentary things.
Yeah.
And it was just like, let me explain everything happening on Arrakis. And it's like, obviously it's for Paul, but really it's for the audience.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I feel like if they would have stretched that out a little bit longer and had like cool scenes, like of like, maybe some history, or, I mean, one of the cool parts that they showed was like the sand walk or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That they finally used at the end of like the movie. I don't know. Like, I agree. I think they should have put more in there.
Yeah.
Because at that point in the movie, I was definitely like hardcore paying attention. I was in the movie for sure. But yeah, and then the little mosquito-looking electronic device burned a hole through his door and like was coming for
Hunter
him.
Seeker. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say,
okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, but like right when the door was opened by like the maid or whatever it was, and like somehow he teleported across the room or moved hella fast and like caught it and killed it. Like, how?
I think the door was a lot closer to him than I think you think it was.
I don't know, man. He caught that mosquito thing as it was darting out of the room. Like, he had to move faster than that like little device thing.
Right, yeah. But he
Seeker.
also like started reaching for it when it was passing his face.
Man, I don't know. It looked like he like jumped across the room and somehow caught it.
Well, maybe he's just really fast.
Maybe. Yeah, and then apparently that Hunter Seeker was found dead in like the wall or something like that.
Yeah. So when the Harkonnens left Arrakis, they like left a spy and like Cask of Amontillado him into the walls, and then he was just trapped in there for months until the Atreides family arrived, and then he was able to pilot the Hunter Seeker from his little tuck spot.
And he just so happened to die like right before.
Well, no, I think the idea is that they opened the wall and killed him.
Oh, okay. Because for some reason I thought they said that he had been dead for a while in the wall.
But he was
not.
in the wall for a month, or for months. But I think he just recently was killed.
Gotcha. I did think that was a pretty cool part. I kind of enjoyed that there was like a spy.
Yeah.
Amongst them.
I love Caladan, the whole world of House Atreides. Absolutely gorgeous. And I think minor, I guess, nitpick, but I think what we see in this movie, and if it's accurate to the books, which I'm sure it is, but I feel like that really set the stage for one of the bigger problems with Star Wars, going back to that influence, is that obviously every planet can't be like Earth, but it is a little strange when every planet only has one biome. Like on Earth, it's like, oh, you have like beautiful misty mountains, and you have deserts, and you have tundras, and you have all of this. But then it's like on Caladan, it's oceans and mountains. On Arrakis, the whole planet is a desert. On Giedi Prime, there's no natural features, and the whole planet is like one big city kind of a thing. And I feel like Star Wars took that idea and ran with it, and like literally every planet in Star Wars is just one biome.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Interesting. They could have just like made up a biome.
Yeah.
Fuck. Have some imagination. Everything hangs up upside down. So, come on.
But that aside, I would love to live on Caladan, because I feel like the thing that really caught me is I love like misty, wet weather. And so the fact that it was just like constantly raining, it was either raining or misty always. And I was like, I love this. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that. It kind of reminded me of the place in Star Wars where the Jedi go to train. It's like misty and swampy and really green.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it took me back to.
How did you feel about the Gom Jabbar scene, where Paul had
to be more specific than that?
where Paul had to stick his hand in the box and he had the poison needle at his neck?
Yeah, that was one of the notes I wrote down. I thought that was really interesting. The fact that like he was, obviously pissed off. Then she commanded him to come to her and kneel.
Mm-hmm.
He was pissed off at that. But then like she like told him to put the hand in the box. He did that. But then like all of a sudden like there's like a massive pain. Oh, the pain is crazy. And she's like asking him, these questions, and there's a poison dart on his neck. And then it shows like his mom on the outside of the door, and she's like, saying like, don't let fear overtake you, like let the fear go, whatever. And then like while that's happening, I feel like inside he's like communicating with his mom somehow, telepathically. And then all of a sudden he just fucking turns into like this badass. He just like straight faces, like looks at the witch. He's like, what's up, bitch? And I think you could kind of see it on the witch's face too, like the little shock maybe, or like the awe. I don't know what it was, but I thought it was a pretty cool scene. I liked when like the music got like really serious and kind of honed in on him, and he's just like looking straight at the camera kind of thing. I thought it was really cool. What'd you think of that scene?
I think the I guess we'll call it a prayer that Jessica was reciting was more for herself than it was for Paul, because obviously she understands that there's a possibility that her son is going to be killed. And so she's like standing outside the door like, I have to do this, but also I'm terrified right now that my son's going to die.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. The whole scene was cool. Because at that point I didn't know exactly who the witch was, and I was surprised that there was only one in there. Yeah, it was definitely a cool scene.
Yeah.
What did you think of speaking of scenes that take places in rooms, after the dad was caught, or I guess like when they were attacked, and then the dad was like hit by the poison dart or whatever it was, and then the betrayer, I guess he was like their healer or doctor.
Dr. Yuan, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, the doctor. how he like came and like switched out the tooth and like, you know, bite on this tooth and then blow out, and it's like super poison.
Yue.
What'd you think about the scene?
That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was super cool, and Oscar Isaac looks incredible naked. So,
Hey. Of course, the corner of the table covered his wee-wee.
yeah,
perfectly.
darn. Also, God, that beard was fantastic on it. We'll talk more about Oscar Isaac later.
Someone's drooling over there, bro. What?
He looks good. But
I think KKK said the same thing. She's like, "What? He's in this too?" You know.
But yeah, I think it's obviously like very surprising that Baron Harkonnen survived that, because he breathed right the fuck in his face, and I'm like, everyone else in the room died and he somehow survived. So that felt a little shitty, but
yeah, everyone else in the room died like immediately, and although like he had his like little shield on, like the shield was like hella red.
Yeah.
And he breathed right in his face. And then apparently he still fucking survives.
Well, I think the idea is that, so first of all, I'm sure his shield did help a little bit.
Of course. I mean, a little, but brother, that
also,
whole room.
So I think maybe the whatever poison stuff that he breathed into the air is like, there's like a density thing where like the poison sticks to the ground a bit more. And so everyone else died because they're just standing there, but Baron Harkonnen has his weird spinal implant that lets him float. So he flew up to the ceiling, and maybe there's like less poison up there.
Maybe, yeah. That's stupid.
It is stupid.
And then he like the later scene where he comes out of like this black goo bathtub. Very confused of what he is.
So the Harkonnens are very like almost inhuman at this point. It's like there's been like centuries upon centuries and generations upon generations of like random like human experimentation and different chemicals being added to their bodies. And like, I mean, you saw there was that one scene where there's like the weird spider person, like they're doing some weird things to everyone on that planet. And so I think after so long of being exposed to a bunch of weird chemicals and doing weird experiments on people, like they just sort of become this grotesque thing.
Yeah I can see that for sure. They were grotesque.
Yeah.
Chewy girl. Hey, come in. Chewy. Damn, Chewy just is eating a moth. No.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about a moth anymore.
But moths sometimes have worms in them, no? That's the one thing that scares me.
I don't know.
I don't know, but probably.
Oh my god, the scene. Okay, so talking about Caladan more, the scene when Paul, like when, first of all, the scene with the giant ship rising out of the ocean, gorgeous.
Really cool. Again, like one of those broad shots where it shows like, you know, KK said that was like Ireland.
Yeah, it did have a very Irelandy feel. I think it was actually filmed in Norway though.
Oh, okay.
But seeing Paul touch the water for the last time, I was like, thinking about having all of that water and then having to move to a desert. I feel like every time I watch that scene, I'm immediately like incredibly thirsty. Like I'm like, I have to get as much water as possible because it's about to be gone.
Oh no, that's funny. That's good. Yeah, like abundance of water, and then all of a sudden you go to a place where you have to drink your own sweat. Like that's fucking crazy. Wow. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about. Damn.
I also think So after the Gom Jabbar thing and Lady Jessica walks out to escort the other Bene Gesserit back to their ship, they leave and they're talking about the Kwisatz Haderach and all the stuff, and she's like, we've done all we can for you on Arrakis. Now it's up to you to not fuck it up.
Yeah.
And then Paul was eavesdropping on them or whatever, and then him and his mom have a conversation, and they're both whispering to each other, but they're like 60 feet apart. And I was
so
watching that
far
scene.
apart.
I was like, there's no way you can hear each other right now.
Yeah, it's like a storm kind of, and there's fog and all this shit.
Like all of
I
the
thought the
shots,
same
they're
thing.
like they're so far away, and then they're just like, "So how did you know about this? What's
Yep.
and I'm like, "What?"
Yep. Yep. Speak louder, please. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, but the one thing, complete backtrack to that scene where like he killed them with a tooth.
Yep.
I liked what he said right before he died, where he said, "Here I am, here I remain." I love that. He said, "Here I am, here I remain." And
I'm
he
telling
fucking
you,
bit on the.
Duke
So
Leto's
sick.
the boss.
He's a fucking badass bitch. Yeah.
My favorite line is when he was talking to Paul in the graveyard, and he's talking about like you have so much like learning to do, and you're the future of House Atreides or whatever. And Paul says, "What if I'm not the future of House Atreides?" And he says, "It's something like when my dad offered me the position, I didn't want it either. I wanted to be a pilot, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah." He says, a good leader doesn't want to lead. They're called to it and they answer. And he says, if your answer is no, you'll still be the only thing I ever needed you to be, my son.
My son.
I was like,
Oh,
damn,
I love that part.
that fucking
I love
hit.
that part. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. From a guy that rules a world and an army and everything. And then he's like, honestly, it doesn't even matter. You're my kid.
Yeah.
I love you for that. I'm like, that's so nice.
Also, I like that later they bring it back on Arrakis, because he mentioned like before he became the leader, he wanted to be a pilot, and then we see him on Arrakis flying when they go to check out the spice harvester. I was like, I feel like there were when they're like sitting up there, and then they realize they have to rescue people, and he just like shuts off the wings and goes into a free dive. I was like, this guy.
Yeah, true.
Like, you can tell he does know how to fly.
Oh yeah. Very cool scene though, because like apparently the wind is like 600 to 900 kilometers an hour. Yeah. What'd you think whenever like they came out of the top of that, like, dust storm, and they were like gliding above it?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I was thinking about an earlier scene, but that
My bad.
I was talking about when because I mean Paul shuts off the wings in that scene as well, but during like when the sandworm eats the harvester and they have to go down there and rescue all the people because the little hot air
like
balloon
the wings.
thing.
Yeah, like right before the worm came.
Yeah, right before the worm came, and Duke Leto is flying, and he also shuts off the wings so they can get to the ground faster.
Right, like a straight nosedive.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kiki and I both said that was like a really cool part. And then she was like, why don't they make planes like that nowadays? I'm like, oh, a little harder than that.
I think there have been attempts to make ornithopters. I think even like I'm forgetting his name. Galileo's the only thing that's coming up, but I know it's not Galileo. Who's the other like ancient Roman inventor person?
Michael D'Angelo? Wait. Michelangelo?
Is no. Hold on. Was it Archimedes?
I mean, that's old.
That's very old. Oh God. Leonardo da Vinci. Good Lord. Whew.
Okay, well, I combined like two different things. What did I say? I already forgot.
You said Michelangelo and
I said Michael D'Angelo.
I mean you said Michael D'Angelo. I don't know who that is.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was kind of on the right track, but yeah, him.
But yeah, apparently there are sketches you can find online. Leonardo da Vinci had created sketches for ornithopters, and obviously there hasn't been any success really with human, like ones that can carry humans. But there are definitely like little like remote control ornithopters you can buy.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's sick. Very interesting, though.
So in case anyone listening doesn't know Greek, not that I do, but just making fun. But it's called an ornithopter because ornis, I believe. Ornis is Greek for bird, and pteron means wing. So the whole other thing. But helicopter, most people think it's heli and copter, but it's actually broken down into helico and pter. And the pter means wing, and in a helicopter, helico means spinning, and so it's a spinning wing, and an ornithopter is a bird wing, and so that's why they flap instead of spinning.
Wow, you should have kept that for fucking trivia.
It's not really about the movie, that's just linguistics.
I mean, it kind of is. That's a cool fact.
Yeah. Also, side note, that's also how you can tell apart pteranodons and pterodactyls. Pterodactyl means fingered wing because they have big claws, I guess. I don't know. But dactyl means finger. And then pteranodon means toothless wing. So anodon means no teeth. So if you're trying to distinguish if something is a pteranodon or a pterodactyl, check its mouth, because pterodactyls have beaks and pteranodons have beaks, pterodactyls have teeth.
Well, shit. All right. Well, if I'm ever trying to diagnose between the two, I'll definitely call you. Or the police, because that might be a kind of a problem.
Anyway,
that's sick.
Got off on a bit of a tangent there.
That's so strange. That's such a wild fact for you to know. Just to know.
Yeah.
That's fun though.
I will say I think it's hard to grasp because I know like part of the story is that it's all fake. And so it's like it's almost hanging a lampshade on itself, but the story it gets vibes of being a bit white savior-y. Like this rich white family goes to a land where there's a bunch of poor brown people and is immediately treated like their messiah, and it feels it feels a little problematic, but I think Dune manages to just barely skirt around it by acknowledging the fact that it's all bullshit, and like Paul isn't actually their savior, it's just lies that have been fed to them for centuries.
And they said that a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's how religion comes around,
Yeah.
Lies have been fed to you guys for centuries, and here you are praying to this Messiah God that you don't even know. Just kidding. They got really yeah, that went down a deep end, dark deep end.
Well, if any of our listeners are religious, your religion is valid, and don't take anything we say to heart.
Yes, don't take it to heart, but think about it.
I think so. The capital, well, quote unquote capital, but the city of Arrakeen, which is where the only city we see on Arrakis. But I will say, I wish we got to explore more of it outside of the palace. Like, there's that first establishing shot where you're flying over and you see, like, there's the big pyramid in the background, but then there's, like, a whole bunch of other shit. But I'm like, I want to see that other shit.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's like always the thing. Like the wide shots are nice, but then it always makes you want more. Like it gives you like, like a little food, a little hunger, and you want to be fed. Yeah. I really do think it was like a cool thing though too, where like a certain time of each day they like close all the doors, close all the windows to conserve water. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, and also
really
just because
cool.
the sun
heat,
is
the
so
sun.
intense. Yeah.
Yeah, but then of course the fucking Paul was out there with the gardener. The gardener was like all like
They
covered
said
up, and then
they have 20 palm trees.
yeah,
Insane.
20 palm trees. Each drink's enough for 5 man a day. So that's what, 200 men? No, 100
just
men.
100. Yeah.
100 men. And then he was like, Paul was like, okay, well, we can just get rid of them to conserve water. And then he was like, no, these are holy.
Yeah.
And then they get burned anyway.
Like
a few scenes later.
Well, I guess in the long run, it's probably better for the water.
Very true. Very true.
Oh my God, the scenes where you see the liquefaction of the sand before a sandworm arrives
Yeah.
is super cool. I don't know how they achieved that on set. I've seen people do it with like smaller setups, like a tub of sand, and you can like I honestly don't even know. You have to like pass air through it, and it loosens the grains enough that it like behaves like a liquid. But I don't know how they did that. I mean, I guess probably just a larger scale version, but it blows my mind how they were able to do that with humans on top of it.
Yeah, probably like a giant shake table is kind of what I was imagining.
That just feels like it would take so much.
I don't know, like a giant shake table that they like test earthquakes on for building structures.
Yeah.
You build a giant sandbox on that, and then you kind of put like air vents in the beneath, so they push up air, but then you turn the shake table on, and it does the same shit.
Maybe.
I'm no
There's
engineer,
probably
but that's
some
how I
behind
would
the
do it.
scenes footage of it. I haven't looked up.
Yeah, true. That was a really cool scene, though. Every time the sandworm came, I was like, holy smokes.
Oh my
And
God,
the one time the sandworm was like looking at them when they were sitting on the rock.
Yeah. Every shot
And
of the sandworms was just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think especially that the scene where they had to run away from it, and it was looking at like that was intimidating, but I still think for me personally my favorite is that first scene when it swallows the spice harvester.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
I made a joke. I was like, well, that can't be fucking tasty. Like, what? It's fucking all metal and spices.
Yeah, I don't really know how the digestive system of sandworms works. But I do know that the sandworms are what create the spice.
Oh, no way.
So
It's like their
that's
shit?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
So that's why it's only found on Arrakis, because there's only sandworms on Arrakis.
Oh, no way. I also thought the scene was cool where you saw like one guy riding one of the sandworms.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
That was like
They should
almost the last shot of the movie.
Yeah, they should make him docile and then just put him in like an arena and just have him shit all the time. And then it all becomes spice. Or put like a poop bag on the end of the worm.
That's hilarious.
So it collects the spice that way.
Well, not to say too much, but you'll learn a bit more about the sandworms in the second movie.
Oh, okay, perfect. Cool. Sick. Hopefully one of my predictions there comes true.
About them tying shit bags on the back.
Yep. The poop bags, I think, is the best one.
All right. What did you think about Liet Kynes, who was the officer of the change or whatever her title was, but she was the person that like kind of like wasn't helping them, and then at the very end decided to help them, and then ended up dying.
Killed.
Yeah.
I thought she was like a badass, but at the same time, kind of bitch made.
Yeah, she
like she's
definitely
there
was
helping these
really
people,
cool,
and
but
then
also like kind of a dick.
yeah, like she's there helping these people, but like at the same time not. And then she said she serves only like this one person or one god.
Yeah, she said, I believe her line was, "I serve only one master, and his name is Shai-Hulud," which is
Yeah.
the Fremen word for the sandworms.
Right. I don't know. I don't know. She kind of didn't make a lot of sense to me, but I think she was an important person to have to show how much the people that are native to that planet respect and like love the sandworms or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it also shows you just how much like there was never really any hope for them to survive. Like they were kind of fucked from the beginning. Like obviously we get the idea that the Emperor, I think even like before they leave Caladan, Duke Leto, also at the graveyard when he's talking to Paul, is like, the other noble houses really respect us, and that's threatening to the Emperor. So he's not sending us to Arrakis for funsies. He's sending us there, like essentially to make us less powerful.
Right.
And so he was like, maybe we can turn the situation around, but we're getting fucked here. And then didn't realize exactly how much they were getting fucked because they have like 6 spice tanks, and you see like there's like 30 other empty spots.
Yeah.
And then
like whole crates, empty crates.
And then the big hot air balloon thing, I'm sure it has a name that I'm just not remembering, but the thing that's supposed to pick up the extractors when the worms come, that was broken. And so that's why I was like, kind of sucks that Liet Kynes didn't do more. And obviously she mentioned that like she was ordered not to help them more.
But still, like, I don't know. If you're there to serve only the worms, why do you betray the people halfway and then betray the other people halfway? Like, fuck.
I don't know, man. But yeah, so they were kind of set up to fail in that way, and then also the whole thing with Dr. Yue, like they kidnapped his wife or whatever, and so he betrayed them. That was super sad.
Yeah, he just got fucking beheaded.
Yeah,
he's like, you can join her.
Yeah, I was just like, how did you not see that coming, dude?
Right. Yeah, that's like hostage 101.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking sad, but it is what it is. What can you do?
I will say the destruction of Arrakeen, while tragic, looked absolutely amazing. All of the like when they drop those huge bombs on the ships and you see them like burrow through the energy shield.
Yep.
That was gorgeous. And then there's the like a little bit later they have it almost looks like flares, but they're like they just shoot out like 20 bombs at a time.
Shit ton of bombs. Yeah. Like 100 bombs just fucking raining down from this massive ship, and everything explodes.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite scene. That was really cool.
And all of the like that scene on the stairs where you have the Harkonnen army coming in on one side and the Atreides are in the middle, and they're like start fucking up the Harkonnens a little bit, but then the Sardaukar land behind them, and so they're getting fucked from both sides.
Yeah. It was robbery. It was highway robbery of a good fight.
It was pretty shit. they got put in a shit situation.
Yeah. There was no winning that, unfortunately.
The Sardaukar they're something else. It's not like I like them because obviously they're the bad guys, but it is super cool seeing them in their like white suits just like gently floating down about
just, like,
to murder
floating
people.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
It's unfair. Like what? Literally, you can't even hear them. They just
it's silent.
Magically land. The fuck.
Oh, and on the, there's only 4 planets in the movie, and I don't remember the 4th one, but the planet where the Sardaukar are trained, and they're all getting blood wiped on their forehead, and there's the person at the front doing the throat singing.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
That's an actual form of singing.
Yeah.
In our world here.
I can't do it. I've watched videos. Nope. I understand how it's done, but knowing how to do something and being able to do something are different.
Completely different. Yep.
Have you ever tried throat singing?
I haven't. I've tried overtone singing, and I used to be actually pretty decent at that. But yeah, throat singing is a little bit different. Can't really.
Throat sing. I tried it a handful of times. It hurts, and I'm sure as you get better at it, you can there's probably techniques to make it not hurt. But it's hard to practice because it destroys my throat.
Yeah. It does sound fucking cool though.
Yeah.
Gives them a different type of vibe, power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What'd you think about the one-on-one battle with Paul and the guy that challenged him?
Damn. I don't remember his name. I'm sure it was given, but yeah, I think that was interesting because it shows. First of all, I think that was another thing that shows that Paul's visions are not certain,
not fully accurate. Yep.
Yeah, because he had a vision earlier of them fighting, and then he got killed.
Right.
And obviously that didn't happen. But then he also had several visions of him and that guy just chatting and him teaching him stuff. And it's well, obviously that's not happening either because you murdered him.
Right. Yeah, I think it was interesting. My mind, it kind of went to him using the vision against the guy, knowing kind of how he died, and then doing the opposite thing, Yeah,
I don't know, but it definitely. Excuse me.
Same.
It definitely. It definitely. It makes you realize that, Paul's future sight is not as honed as it would be.
Right. Agreed. He has a lot of learning to do.
Yeah.
Practically.
And I think he kind of is able to interpret it. He had the vision of the knife laying on the ground, and he is I don't really know what's going to happen, but I know that at some point someone is going to hand me a knife, and my life is going to change after that. And then you see at the end when Chani gives him her knife, and he looks at her, and he's like, "Oh shit, this is that moment."
This is that thing. Yeah, and then he becomes a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah.
Which is weird though, because why didn't the mom just fight for herself? You know what I'm saying? She's obviously a badass. She can just tell him to kill himself.
Well, I think that would be cheating. I think the point is for it to be an actual knife fight.
Oh. I mean, fighting is fighting. You can use whatever you want. Nails, teeth, witch magic. No, I get you though. That makes sense.
Also, so I don't know if you caught this, but the Chris knives, which are the knives that all of them are using, I think Chani even specifically said they're made out of
the worm's teeth.
The worm's
bristles.
teeth. Yeah. But they are so part of the, I guess, tradition of the knife is that it is so sacred that you can't in order to stop people from being frivolous with it, they have a tradition where if you unsheath your knife, it has to draw blood before you can put it back.
Oh, that's why everyone cut their own wrists.
Yeah. And so when they're all standing there with their knives out, and then he's like, "Put your knives away," and they all cut themselves before they put it back.
Oh, that's what that was. I thought that was them promising that they weren't gonna hurt them on the way, wherever they were going.
No, that's just because the knife is so special.
Wow, that's cool. I didn't realize that. Huh. The more you know.
I That's what I'm telling you. I think there is in it. I think it makes the world feel so alive that they're like, obviously they do explain all of the vital information, but there are so many things in the movie that are just like not explained, and it makes you when you're sitting there and you're like, huh, I wonder why they did that, and it's just like, I don't know, it makes the world feel so deep and complex, and like there's stuff happening out there that is so beyond what the main characters are going through.
Right. And I think that's what like makes the movie to me good, is that like I just said, like that was a curiosity thing to me. Like I'm not exactly sure why they did it, but I came up with like a resolution in my head where I was like, oh, that's like satisfying. I think that's why.
Yeah.
But then, you know, obviously there's so many other things it could be, and it was wild. It's really cool. Yeah, it just adds that much more depth to a story where, you know, you can use your own imagination to fill it up or find out the truth somehow. 'Cause someone's going to explain it.
Yeah. I'd also like to do a special shout out. I know I've mentioned a couple times now that I thought everyone did a good job, but Stellan Skarsgård having to perform through like 50 something layers of makeup in a fat suit, like it's amazing how he was able to give such a performance.
Yeah. Agreed. Because those suits are no joke.
Yeah.
You're sitting in a makeup chair for hours, and then you have to perform. Crazy.
I mean,
I personally have no more notes.
Yeah, it's like we were just talking about the final scene there, so, and I don't think I have anything more. Yeah, that's it for me.
Alrighty.
But great movie. For anyone who has not seen it, see it.
Yeah, you definitely should. And while you're at it, make sure you watch the second one afterwards. I've heard they're a great pair, so
yeah,
definitely watch it.
I do remember when this movie was announced, and for quite a lot of the marketing run, it was just called Dune, and everyone sort of expected it to be a full movie, and then it wasn't until the movie came out, I think, that because like in the title card at the beginning of the movie, it says Dune, and then it says Part 1. And I remember being in theater being like, oh, shit.
You're like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I mean, good marketing strategy, honestly. You know?
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with it. It still was a great standalone movie. Just that there's more.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll move into trivia then.
Let's do it.
As I mentioned earlier, the scenes on the world Caladan were shot in Norway, but much of the desert scenes were shot in Jordan and Abu Dhabi.
No way. That's cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay. The application time for Baron Harkonnen was about 4 hours when Stellan Skarsgård was wearing clothes, and 6 hours when the character was naked. It says Skarsgård loved every part of the process, and the head of the makeup department, Donald Moat, spoke highly of his enthusiasm, saying, Stellan's really into makeup. He's been in lots of incredible films with great makeup artists, hairstylists, and designers. He's got a great eye, and he is very enthusiastic. He's the kind of guy that when I set up a life casting one day, I said, it's going to be like 7 or 8 hours, and Stellan didn't want a break for lunch. We know other people who every 20 minutes need to be on their phone or have personal time, but he is very committed and extremely enthusiastic.
Wow. That's so cool.
If he was sitting in a chair for 8 hours.
Bro.
Wild.
That's fucking insane. I know even getting a tattoo for like 4 hours, like you're like, fuck, like I want to get up and do something. That's crazy.
It also says
they're like all over your body too.
Yeah. This is some of the more complicated scenes involving him being submerged in a bathtub of black muddy liquid. It says Moat discovered that the oiliness of the mud bath was releasing the prosthetics as well as creating buoyancy issues. So the team spent a whole weekend reconfiguring things, and that scene in the bathtub is the only time that they used a stunt double instead of Stellan, because he had to be physically pulled under the oil.
No way.
Like, he couldn't just sink into it. They had to have him, like, yanked down.
What the fuck? Yo, that's crazy. I wonder how they did that. I mean, there definitely weren't
I'd
people
imagine
in the
just
bathtub.
like there's probably just like ropes coming through the floor or something. Or
It's fucking wild. That is so sick. Wow.
the bagpipe player playing the ceremonial piece on the arrival on Arrakis is played by Hans Zimmer, the movie's composer.
Oh shit. Sick. Let's go.
It says the sound of the bagpipe, however, during the scene is played by someone named Guthrie Govan, who is an English-Scottish musician who actually imitated the sound of a bagpipe using a guitar. So the music you're hearing during that part isn't a real bagpipe, it's a guitar made to sound like a bagpipe.
Why don't they just use a fucking bagpipe? That makes no fucking sense.
Well, I think it because Hans Zimmer is very experimental with his music, which I think is part of why it ends up so amazing all the time. Because he will just make shit up. Like, I think there are things that you can do with a guitar that you can't do with a bagpipe. So if you want a bagpipe to be able to do those things, it makes sense to transpose it onto something else. But like, I've also heard that he hired a singer to sing every single note he could think of, and then he had her voice put onto a piano so that he could play her voice.
Dude, that's fucking wild.
Like, I'm telling you, this man does some crazy stuff with music.
That's insanity. Really cool though. Good for him. He's just sleeping in bed, just like, I'm gonna use a guitar for a bagpipe. That's what I'm gonna do. Like, what?
Well, I think it helps to give a very like the sounds in Dune are like familiar, like you recognize a bagpipe when you hear it.
Yeah.
But it also gives this sort of alien feel where you're like, the sound of the bagpipe in this movie is very different from any other bagpipe you've heard because it's played in a very non-traditional way.
Yeah, a guitar. Yeah.
So it feels
That's crazy.
It feels very otherworldly, which I think helps with the atmosphere of the film.
Oh yeah, I'm with you on that. Wow, that's really cool. I want to see a clip of that actually.
The film takes liberties with the still suits being a dark color, which was to make the actors more visible on camera. But in the book, the still suits are a lighter color, making it easier to hide.
The still suits?
Yeah, those black outfits that everyone was wearing out in the desert.
Yeah. I mean, even if it was a little lighter color, why not?
Because
more camo.
Well, yeah, I think so. The lighter color obviously would help blend in with the sand, but when you're filming a movie, you don't want all your actors to blend in with the sand.
Yeah, I get that. It was just funny because like black is like the one color that absorbs the most heat and holds it.
I saw a YouTube video of a week ago. Some people had made, not like they're not as advanced as the ones in Dune, but they made a very rudimentary still suit, and it was actually pretty cool.
Interesting.
They had like
dope.
they made, first of all, they had to get like a huge, like a Tyvek suit like someone would wear in like a laboratory to make sure that no water escapes.
Right.
And then they put a camelback with a little just like a little like vent fan on it, because it would like it as the air flows over the cooling coils, water condenses onto it and then drips down into the camelback. And so the person wearing it was like obviously sweating a bunch, and he like, I think he made him do workouts and stuff, so he was like really, really sweaty. All of the sweat evaporated, and then the fan was blowing his sweaty air over the cooling coils, which condensed the air, dripped into the camelback, and then he could drink it.
That's so fucking disgusting, dude.
They had a what, you know,
Filtration
those
system, I hope.
yeah, those little camping thing, like straw filtration, and they hooked it up to the tube on the camelback.
Ugh. Would you do that?
I mean, yeah. So the person in the video, he said, like, because it's such a strong filtration system, it's like super clean water. His only complaint was that it was kind of warm.
Ugh.
But it was just like,
yeah,
it was just like warm water.
That is crazy. Wow. Good for them.
But yeah.
Wow. Hats off.
Fight coordinator Roger Ewan based the fighting style of House Atreides on the Filipino martial arts of Kali and Eskrima. Since they have shorter swords, the Atreides use precise fighting techniques that work specifically for their weapons. And then to make House Harkonnen seem more barbaric, he based their fighting style on ancient Mongolian fighting styles from the Genghis Khan era, which have a more bestial and sadistic quality, with movements that are efficient but not very precise or stylized.
Oh wow, cool. Yeah, I definitely see it. Yeah, thinking back. It's crazy how fighting styles really do like give such a different feel to each colony.
Charlotte Rampling, who played the Reverend Mother, dubbed herself for the French version of the film because she's bilingual.
Hey yo, let's go bilinguals.
The story takes place in the year 10,191 AG, which stands for After Guild. In the book, the Universal Standard Calendar starts counting from the moment the Spacing Guild enabled interstellar travel. From several clues in the book's appendices, this occurred somewhere in the 14th millennium. Some estimates say around 13,161. This would mean that the movie actually takes place around the year 23,300 AD. However, the books also mention that a standard year in the universal calendar is 20 hours shorter than an Earth year, and no mention is made of leap years, so the chronology remains a rough estimate.
Bro, the fact that someone is out there actually like figuring this out is just mind-boggling to me. That's just what?
So yeah, in the movie it says it's a little past the year 10,000, but what they don't explain is that standard of counting is already 10,000 years out, and so it's really like 23,000.
That's fucking crazy. Wow, that's cool.
But yeah, it is the world of Dune is intended to be like, it's not a different universe. It's intended to be the future of like of our universe.
Right.
And so that's why like that's why you get people with names like Duncan Idaho.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense. I get it.
Yeah. Like the humans in this world did a long time ago did come from Earth.
Man, that's cool. It's a good tie back though.
Yeah.
Makes it more personal.
Last piece of trivia here. It says Hans Zimmer chose the words for the score's lyrics based on words that sing well as opposed to their actual meaning. He said, Professor of Linguistics is probably quietly horrified by what I did, but the point isn't the understanding of the words, but that someone is telling you something important.
Cool.
So he wrote it just based off vibes.
LOL. He's like, yeah, this feels about right.
Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, this sounds intense.
Oh yeah. I mean, cool. Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Who cares?
All right, that's all I have for trivia.
Oh hell yeah, that was good trivia.
I believe that means it's time to get wrecked.
It is time to get wrecked. And I have mine.
Yeah. I think
if
you
you guys
said it
ever
had something
go
to do with
to-
your crackers.
Yep. So these are actually cookies. This one specifically has raspberry flavored filling. And this is what they look like. So there's like raspberry filling in the middle, and then on the outsides, I don't know if they show the outsides. I can show you the outsides. There's like a cream filling, and you can get these at IKEA, and they're German crackers, cookies.
Okay.
Highly recommend them. They're so fucking good. They're so good. But yeah, this flavor that I have here is raspberry, but you can get them at IKEA. So if you ever go to IKEA, get some cookies.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have two things that I could recommend, but I'm gonna save my other one for next week because I'm not sure I'll have something next week.
Nice.
But I'll say, go and watch if you haven't. There's a show on Hulu, which I believe is also now available on Disney Plus. But a show called Shogun, which takes place in, I want to say the 1600s in Japan. But it's a fantastic series, and the team put a lot of work into making it historically accurate. Like, so as an example, the show has a lot of subtitle. There are characters that speak English, and technically they're supposed to be speaking Portuguese, but in the show, whenever someone is speaking Portuguese, they speak it as English because obviously it's a show for an English-speaking audience.
Yeah.
So there are characters that speak Portuguese, which is English, but then everyone speaking Japanese is actually speaking Japanese, and so it's subtitled. But what the crew did is they wrote the entire script in English. They sent it to be translated into Japanese. Then they sent the Japanese translation to someone who is an expert on, on the specific era in Japan, who then translated it into a more period-appropriate version of Japanese, because people back then used a different kind of Japanese than modern Japanese.
Yeah, different dialects.
Right. And so then they took the older version of Japanese and then translated that back into English for the subtitles.
That is fucking sick. How cool. And for the viewers, it's spelled Shogun, one word.
Yep. Shogun.
That's so cool. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. This looks really fun.
It's an amazing series.
Oh, very cool. Oh, I might need to watch it.
Yeah, that's my recommendation for this week.
Oh yeah, good rec. Good rec. That's definitely around my my wheelhouse of things I would want to watch. Cool. Well,
any last thoughts?
I mean, all I can say is go watch the movie that we just talked about for an hour and 50 minutes. You know, it's like, go watch Dune. Great movie.
All right.
Get prepared for next week. We're going to be watching Dune 2.
Yep.
You know? So
if you want to be prepared.
Prepare yourself.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and tell your friends and family about us. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and hit that bell icon. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CashBandPod. If you want to send us a message, you can DM us, leave a YouTube comment, or send an email to casualfanaticpodcast@gmail.com. Lico, why don't you tell them what kind of message they can send us?
You guys can send us anything from, hey, we love your podcast. Please, keep making these things. You can give us movie recommendations of movies that you'd want us to watch and or review, or you can give us feedback of things that you like in the show or things that you think we could add. That would be a good addition. Anything like that.
All right. And on that note, this has been Casual Fanatic. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.